all for you since you are here. What is the story behind as ever? Meghan Markle lied about the name itself. In 2022, she said the name was already listed. But when Vanity Fair, their sources, and citing other sources as well, investigated the matter with the United States Patent and Trademark Company, they found out that it was not 2022 when Meghan said the name was already written as ever, was invented or created or whatever, but they found out that it was in fact not an active application up until September of 2024. Means in the office of US Patent and Trademark Administration, there was nothing called as ever that was actively seeking a name status for a business by Meghan Markle. So that's a lie number one. Now, I want to actually talk to you about how this has all backfired on Meghan Markle, how her business is suffering, as we know it always does, but at the same time how it is now helping somebody else's business. So let's talk about that, shall we? But before I do that, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. Consider subscribing if you're not yet. This guy, his name is Mark Kolsky. I hope I am saying the name right. Mark Kolsky is an owner of a business. This is a New York-based business, and the business's name is also As Ever. And his brand, they produce clothing. Now, in an interview with Vanity Fair, Kolsky, he said, after Meghan Markle, so I'm talking about how this all helped other businesses, but not Meghan Markle. So let's talk about this. So let's talk about first Mark Kolsky's story, because I have another story from Janet. I'll talk about that in a second. Mark said since this name was launched by Meghan Markle, which is a copycat, he said, I checked my email inbox and also my Instagram inbox, and he said that his inbox was overwhelmed by messages. Now, there are two kinds of messages you have to understand, because with Meghan Markle, not everything looks as what it is. Not everybody trusts Meghan Markle. In fact, most people they don't trust. So when he received those messages in his inbox, two types of messages he received. Number one was complimentary messages. People were saying good things, congratulating him, wishing him all the best. And the other type of message that he received was message of concern. Message of concern. Why? Because they wanted him to be careful. They wanted Mark Kolsky to be careful dealing with Meghan Markle in any capacity, because we know who Mark is, and looks like his people, his customers, his followers, they're also aware of who Meghan is. But nevertheless, it helped because it did bring him a lot of attention. Not only this, but when Mark received those messages and it went viral, not Meghan's brand As Ever, but Mark's brand, that is a clothing brand, when it became viral, he came out and he said to every one of the people involved in his company, thank you. And every single new customer that he was getting, thank you. And he said, thank you so much that you are now aware that we exist, and thank you, thank you, thank you. In other words, Meghan Markle's copycat, this plagiarism that she committed, helped Mark Kolsky immensely. The last 6 hours, means the first 6 hours after the name was launched, the As Ever name, there he said, Mark said, I have been receiving outpouring of support and love and welcome from all across my community where I serve in New York. Not only this, as I said, Jen Corbett was also benefited. Who is Jen Corbett? She is the owner of As Ever. But this business is not in New York, it is in Arizona. It's an Arizona-based wedding photographing company. They are in business for the last 12 years plus. She said once we received those messages about how Meghan was using her name, company's name, we have received a lot of good attention. And she said to Meghan Markle indirectly, thank you for helping me out. Why? Because she said, since she posted on Instagram, since Jen Corbett posted on Instagram about this whole thing, she said, people came to know that I exist. And now I thank you, Meghan Markle, for throwing me a bone, even though she said, I'm not that kind of a person who will be thriving on somebody else's success or name. Mark Kolosky and Jen Corbett, this is the story for both of them. Now, I want to add a few more things about Mark Kolosky. Mark Kolosky, let's go back to the first person. He had, according to one report, okay, he had 7,000 Instagram followers. But after Meghan launched her new name As Ever, he said, my Instagram followers now have 18,000 in just no time. So it increased immensely. And not only that, he said his shop was sold out, everything inside of it. And he said, I'm now struggling to even meet the demand of the people, because the number of orders he's receiving right now is getting overwhelming for him. Now, what we understand from this is that Mark Kolosky and Jen Corbett, both of them, they received this huge welcoming messages and messages of inspiration and giving him accolade and credit for everything that he was doing, and now becoming so well known, he was receiving all these messages. Now, Mark Kolosky, a lot of people, they say, is he gonna sue Meghan Markle because Meghan Markle is using his company's name? I mean, this is a a copycat thing, and Meghan is pleasurizing with these names and all that. Well, Mark Kolosky gave an answer, and he said that I will not sue Meghan Markle. So this is coming from Mark. Okay, he said, I'm not going to be suing Meghan Markle. Why? Because my company is a clothing company. It is not what Meghan is going to be selling. But he said, if Meghan Markle does sell clothes down the line, then guess what? I will be thinking about taking legal action, because then obviously Meghan Markle will become a competitor of Mark Kolosky. Or if she sells anything, let's say wedding accessories or dress, anything of that sort, or photography, because Jen Corbett has a photographer company, a wedding photographer. Then of course Meghan would come under scrutiny, and she might even get sued. We do not know, but right now, all we know is that Meghan's pleasurizing this whole thing and copycatting other people is helping those people, not Meghan. Meghan's business is still suffering. She is lying through her teeth. She said, I already had this name from 2022, but that was a lie in order to cover up her embarrassment. But now, more and more truth will come out, and she's going to struggle more and more. I mean, the name, first of all, it has become controversial, and a small city town, they wanted to sue Meghan Markle. Then later they decided we're not going to do that. And then obviously the stuff that she's going to be selling, how well that will sell, how authentic, how qualityful they will be, is something will be obviously very, very highly doubtful. Eva, Jane, Gina, thank you guys. Mark, Ellie, I'll see you in the next video.